Today we're going to talk about whole milk versus low-fat milk and which is best for you if you're trying to lose weight. So whole milk is somewhere between 3.25 to 3.5% fat. 2% milk has about 2% fat, 1% milk has 1% fat, and skim milk has somewhere about 0.2% fat. Now, you might think that whole milk having more fat than skim milk is probably worse for you in terms of weight loss and overall health. And in fact, the American Heart Association has traditionally recommended lower fat milk because the fat in milk is saturated fat. And this is the kind that can increase bad cholesterol levels, or LDL, which can eventually lead to increased risk of heart attacks and strokes. Also, there's a higher calorie count in terms of whole milk versus skim milk. So again, you might assume that whole milk is worse for you than low-fat milk. Now, that being said, some of the newer research is indicating the opposite might actually be true. And there's a number of reasons for why that might be the case. And it includes that whole milk can contain some nutrients that are not present in as high quantities in lower fat milk. So for example, omega-3 fatty acids, which have certain anti-inflammatory properties, are found more in whole milk than they are in skim milk. So let's look at some of these factors. So per cup of milk, which is about 237 ml, for whole milk there are 146 calories. For 2% milk, there's 122 calories. 1% milk, there's 102 calories. And skim milk, there's 83 calories. So there's an obvious difference between whole milk and skim milk, but it's not a dramatic difference either for an entire cup of milk. Now, in a review of 16 scientific studies, 11 studies found an association between consuming high-fat dairy and a lower risk of obesity. A number of other studies have come to the same conclusion. These results are not conclusive as the studies do not all agree, but it is kind of interesting because you would think that something that has higher calories is going to cause more weight gain or difficulty in losing weight. However, the opposite was found in a number of these studies. Theoretically, the higher levels of fat in whole milk products might make one feel full, faster, and/or longer. This might lead one to eat less. There are some studies that have looked at this phenomenon, but there isn't really a whole lot of data on the subject. So at the end of the day, I'll say the jury is out on this particular subject. Is whole milk better? Is low-fat milk better? It's hard to say. One thing that I can say though is that whole milk tastes better than low-fat milk, so there's a bonus there. Whole milk has some of the nutrients that we talked about, like the omega-3 fatty acids, compared to the low-fat milk. The calorie difference is not very different. A number of studies have shown that the consumption of whole milk might lead to less obesity than consuming low-fat milk. And so for this reason, if I had a choice, I would pick whole milk at this point in time.